Anyone recognize these structures, this field that the wheat is growing in? That used to be called Eagles Field. I believe it was owned by the Eagles Lodge. Later in its existence, it was called O'Brien's Field. But this is where men's league softball started, and some of the games were played at Chicago Field on Chicago Avenue in the North End. The league started somewhere around June 7, 1968, sponsored by the Vincennes Recreation Department, and the first games were played on Saturday at Eagles Field, June 8, 1968. The first round schedule played at Eagles Field. The following Tuesday, games were played at the North End Diamond on Chicago Avenue. Bill Hartsburg was in charge of the league. Umpires for the games were Marshall Evans for the games at Eagle Field, and Theodore Nash officiated the Tuesday night games in Chicago Park. And some of the sponsored teams was the RC's, Vincennes University, White Steamer, Eagles. But in these pictures, you can still see the backstop and the dugouts for the visitors and the home team and the scoreboard. One very famous person played on this field in a softball tournament. That was Larry Bird. Larry Bird is shown in this picture running the bases with Mike's son watching him. When Larry Bird played in the softball league, he was only in college. We did not know how famous he was actually going to be. A lot of very talented softball players played in this league over the years, and many good teams. Let's call them stacked teams, okay? I played in several teams in this league. I wasn't talented. I wasn't very good at the game, but I loved to play. And afterwards, we got to go out into the parking lot and sit on tailgates and drink some adult beverages. It was always a good time playing in this softball league. I don't know when the league ended, somewhere around maybe early 2000s, mid-2000s. But it was a great time. If you didn't play, a lot of people came out and watched games. Something to do on a Friday or Saturday night. It would be nice if the owner of this field would allow us to go out and play a softball game or two sometime. Maybe even get the league started back up. Oh well, that may never happen, but that's the nature of things. Everything has a beginning and an end. Who around my age doesn't remember Charlie's Burger Barn? The A-frame building that stood on Washington Avenue. Every time I pass there, brings back memories. For a while before I got a car and I'd want to go visit my girlfriend, my wife now, I'd walk to her house or my house and I'd walk back. Well, that was quite a ways, and during the winter time it'd get pretty cold. And I'd stop off at Charlie's Burger Barn. I grabbed the value meal, the first value meal I remember from any sort of burger place. You got a barn burger, fries, and a Coke for $1.05. That was cheap, even back then. I wouldn't take the Coke because it was too cold during those winter days, walking back from my girlfriend's house to mine. But I'd buy 2 of those things, and I'd shove those barn burgers and fries up underneath my coat, and it would keep me warm the rest of the way home. And when I got home, I had something to eat. But I always have sodas or whatever in the fridge, you know. That's one of my favorite memories of Charlie's Burger Barn. But I ate there many times. But Charlie's Burger Barn was a popular historic restaurant in Vincennes, Indiana, that opened on June 15, 1964 at 1012 Washington Avenue. It was known for its barn-shaped building and 1960s fast food prices like 25-cent cheeseburgers. Couldn't beat the prices there, and the food was delicious. The founder was Charlie Winkler, who had ran several other restaurants around Vincennes, and also local veterinarian J. Edward Swander. Opening specials: 10-cent hamburgers, 5-cent Pepsi Colas during its 1964 grand opening week. Menu staples: cheeseburgers, French fries for 15 cents, tenderloins, and coney dogs, and milkshakes. That popular A-frame building and the post that used to hold the sign that we would see standing there on Washington Avenue still exists. Every time I pass that building, it takes me back to my younger days. That was one of my favorite places to go to eat. In these photographs are the remnants of a once thriving business in Vincennes. Putt-putt golf, miniature golf. Anyone could be competitive in miniature golf. The owners kept building on this business, this enterprise, and next they built the batting cages. Man, these kids from Cub League could have been in there working on their batting skills all day. Then they built on this business one more time and they added the go-kart track. Man, who doesn't love the go-kart track? Man, I could drive those go-karts around all day. They'd let me and I had enough money. I hated when they went out of business. We just don't have enough fun entertainment to go to when you don't have anything else to do. Let's see, what's another good building here that's empty now that we had a good time visiting? One I could think of was the Plaza Cinema. Showed movies there for many years. That theater opened its doors June 17, 1970 and closed May 29, 2003. So for 23 years, this building's been empty. But I remember having some fond memories of this building when I drive by there. Sometimes it triggers me in some of those memories. Dates I went on, great movies I watched. But one memory that I think about a lot, back around 1971, 72, about 5 of my friends and I went to the Center Hardware store that was giving free tickets to kids when they asked for them for movies at the theater in the plaza. So we all went in there, we got us a ticket. The movie we watched was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I think it was around 1971 because that's when that movie came out. Right now, there's a business next to the theater called Glick's. I don't know what the business was before Glick's that was next to the theater. But on the other side of the theater was Grant's. A lot of people forget about Grant's being there. And then after Grant's, it was J.C. Penney's. Now that large building is empty and been empty for many years. What can we put in those two buildings that would help kids today have some fond memories of the Vincennes Plaza? The theater might be a great place to have concerts. The building next to it might be a great place for a roller skating rink. That's just a couple businesses off the top of my head. We actually need some more businesses in Vincennes to give people something to do.